Well, executives from the 5 big oil companies are going to be taking center stage in Washington this morning to defend the tax credits that the companies now enjoy, the billions of dollars in tax credits. Our next guest calls a plan to end the tax breaks a, quote, vindictive money grab. Jack Gerard is the president and CEO of the American Petroleum Institute. He joins us now from Washington. Also with me from Capitol Hill is our chief Washington correspondent, Peter Cook, who is, of course, going to be covering this hearing for us. Jack, thanks so much for joining us. And, we all know the arguments on the two sides between, was largely a Democrat and, well, I mean, the Democrat and Republican argument, although there's some mixture from both sides. Overall, though, how are you going to prove to the American people that cutting these tax breaks is actually going to cost American jobs?
Well, I think it's clear, and the economic research and analysis shows that we're putting at risk 170,000 American jobs if this tax proposal were to move forward. I would add, based on your earlier comment, there's bipartisan opposition to this approach. It's unlikely to be enacted in the current environment, but it's really designed to distract from the real issues at hand, and that is the ineffective energy policies by this administration and others that have really allowed the price of fuel in this country to continue to rise.
But is there some compromise that can be made, Jack?
Well, what we need to do is look at the actual proposals they're talking about. The first important thing to remember, the oil and natural gas industry in the United States gets no subsidies from the federal government. While you might hear a lot of rhetoric about we receive subsidies for this and that, that's not true. The tax provisions they're talking about are general business provisions that apply to all sorts of companies and corporations.
Jack, you're talking about, and I'm looking down here, a list of those, like the deductions on manufacturing equipment, is that what it is?
That's right.
But there are some deductions.
Right. Section 199 is the way they refer to that, Betty, and what that does, it was enacted in 2004. It was designed to create American jobs and to retain jobs here in America. And what they've done is they're saying, well, we're going to go after 5 companies, and we're just going to pull those 5 companies out of a business-wide tax provision, and we're going to punish them because of their earnings. I thought it was good to have successful companies in the United States who happen to employ 9.2 million Americans. We should be encouraging economic activity and success, not punishing it.
Jack, this is Peter on the Hill. You say that there isn't a great likelihood this is going to clear Congress given the current environment, and certainly Democrats have tried these changes in the past unsuccessfully, but there is a different environment here in terms of the deficit. How worried are you that even if this doesn't pass on a standalone basis, it could be part of a broader deficit deal in which not only the energy industry is asked to sacrifice, plenty of other industries are as well?
Well, Peter, in that context, I think it's a different discussion. If we're looking at corporate tax reform overall and reforming the tax code, hey, the oil and natural gas industry is prepared to engage in that conversation, like I hope all other industries and individuals are. And that would be designed to make our tax policy more equitable, to make us more competitive on a global basis. We're prepared to have that conversation. What they're talking about today and the proposal that will be discussed at the hearing here in a few minutes is a punitive measure designed to punish and discriminate against 5 companies. I think that's bad public policy when it was first proposed. It's bad public policy today, and it does nothing to impact the cost of energy.
Jack, very quickly,
yes,
I want to get back just to the compromise. The Royal Dutch Shell, the Marvin Odum, who's the CEO of the U.S. unit, he says he would be open to, let's say, putting the tax breaks and indexing them, let's say, to the rise and fall of the price of oil and gas. Is that something you'd consider?
Well, I think there's lots of different thoughts about how you might adjust the tax code as it relates to us and it relates to the broader business community. When we get to that point of having that broader discussion, I think we should put lots of ideas on the table and have lots of conversations, and I think that's what Marvin's trying to do. He's trying to contribute in a positive way to that dialogue. But the approach they're focused on today is punitive, it's vindictive, and it does nothing to solve our energy problems.
Jack, thank you. I appreciate you joining us. Jack Gerard, the president
Thank you, Betty.
of the American Petroleum Institute, and also to Peter Cook.